you're prescribed. And also we have, there's two different things that you can get the oxygen out of the tank with. One is just a regular plain regulator. And that just gives a continuous flow of oxygen right out of the tank. And the 2 liter size will last about three hours maybe.
2 liter, that's a big one. That's like the big giant Pepsi.
Yeah, that's like a Pepsi, a big Pepsi bottle.
Right,
that'll last about. No, our D tank lasts about 2 hours, so that would last about an hour and a half.
Okay, that'd be about at the 2 liters per hour or something like that.
But that's continuous flow.
Right.
The other thing that we have is called a conserving device, and what that does is when you put that on, instead of a continuous flow, it only gives a puff of oxygen as you breathe in. So when you have the cannula in your nose and you breathe in, you'll hear the device puff, and then you'll get a puff of oxygen.
That sounds great, because when you're breathing out, you don't need you can't use it. It
exactly,
blows away,
it's blowing right away.
Yeah.
So with this conserving device, the ones that we currently use now conserve 4 to 1. So this tank that would last an hour and a half is now lasting up to 6 hours.
That's a 2 liter.
At 2 liters per minute. And the beauty of these conserving,
just about as low as it goes. I mean, in an emergency, you get 15 liters.
Right.
You know?
The beauty of this, though, is even though you only get that puff of oxygen when you breathe in, it doesn't diminish the amount of oxygen that you're actually taking in.
Sure.
People think, sometimes they think that, well, if it's not flowing continuously, I'm not getting as much as I... But the way it's designed, it puffs and you draw it right in. There is absolutely none wasted. Whereas with the constant flow, there's always oxygen being wasted.
So now, how do these people fill their little 2 liter tanks? I mean, it's good for an hour. In many cases. They got to tramp around with this thing attached to them, and that little gadget up the nose. What do you call that?
Well, we don't.
The thing up the nose.
Right. What's that?
What do they call that thing?
Cannula.
Cannula.
Nasal cannula. Yeah.
So what do they do now? They run out.
Well, with the conserving device, the 1 liter size tank, that'll last 4 hours with the conserving device at 2 liters.
Okay.
So we normally leave them 6 tanks. And we adjust because we like to be on them on a delivery schedule about every 2 weeks. They can't fill them themselves. What my job is I go out and set the people up, explain how the equipment works, and then once they need tanks, they give the office a call. And we have the phone number for it if you have any
What
questions.
is the phone number? If somebody wanted to get in touch with
It's 716.
Lincare and ask about this stuff. This is not an advertisement,
Right.
friends. This is for your information.
It's 716-484-1292. And there is someone, our office is open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, but we also offer 24-hour services on an emergency basis.
Okay, we'll hold on.
Okay.
24-hour service. Phone caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Reed. How are you?
Fine. What's up, madam?
My question is specifically, there's the air that you breathe is about 20% oxygen. What out of the tank, how much percent of oxygen is it?
Out of the tank is 99.9% pure.
Just like gold.
Just like gold. The machines that we put out is about 98 to 99% pure, but it still does the same. It still accomplishes the same. The purpose is what we're doing is introducing that supplement oxygen into the lungs, so that it has more oxygen there to absorb. So the oxygen level is still, even at 98%, you'll see a significant.
Are there machines that will basically gather up that 20% of oxygen and just throw it into your lungs? Or
you say machine.
You have to just have
versus
the
tank. How's the machine get us out?
Okay, well, the machine is called a concentrator, And what it basically does is just what she says. This machine draws the air that we're breathing in now and separates the nitrogen and the oxygen and all the other impurities that are in the air and expels them back into the atmosphere, concentrates the oxygen, and then there's a little tube that you hook to the machine, and which hooks to your nasal cannula, and then you put that in your nose, and that's how you get your oxygen throughout while you're at home.
Can you take the machine with you?
Unfortunately, no, because it does plug into the wall.
Okay, so you got it. This is only for home use.
The machine is for home use, and if you are to the point where you need oxygen 24 hours a day, that's what we give the tanks for.
Okay, what's a machine cost?
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Send me an envelope. I got some gifts for you. What's the machine cost? I mean, you say, well, gee, if I got to pay for oxygen all the time, and I do want to ask you what this costs, because everybody's interested in the cost.
Right.
What's a machine cost, for instance?
Well,
do you know, is it 100,000 or 10,000
no,
or 1,000 or 500?
Well, we don't actually sell the machines.
You rent them.
Our machines are always rentals, and depending on the insurance determines how long that the machine is actually rented for. Medicare will pay for the machine up to 3 years, and then we receive no revenue back as a company from Medicare or from any insurance company for that machine. So that's why the business is always out testing people, always marketing, is because we have to bring in new people all the time to keep the business running.
And you say you don't make any money from the machine. What do you mean?
Well, for the first 3 years, we get approximately $150 a month reimbursed on each machine that we put out. Okay. After 3 years, Medicare no longer pays that $150.
Who pays for it?
Nobody. We just leave the equipment there and eat the cost.
Basically, you don't let the patient die. You continue the machine for them.
Right. We will never take the machine out without a doctor's order or the patient. Without the patient. Right. Well, anybody can refuse medical treatment at any time. And so if the patient says, get it out, I don't want it anymore, I don't use it, they can sign a form refusing the equipment, and we'll come pick it up.
Okay.
But Medicare does. I shouldn't say Medicare will stop paying. They'll stop paying for a period of time.
Long enough for you to die, probably.
Well, no. After Medicare looks at a machine, because most machines are warranted for 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, they'll buy a brand new machine and they'll start the billing process all over again.
Okay, so that's the way it really works.
Right.
Tell me something. What's a tank of oxygen cost?
Well,
say a 2-liter job. You say you drop off 6 of those at a crack.
Sorry, I was getting a frog in my throat.
It's that darned COPD.
Oh, yes. Actually, we get reimbursed a certain amount. I think it's around $35 or $36 per month for portable oxygen.
So it doesn't go by the bottle?
No, it doesn't go by the bottle. So if you use 1 bottle a month, your insurance is going to pay $35 a month. If you go through 30 tanks, we get $35. Okay. We have some patients that use so much portable that we actually lose money by having that patient.
Yeah. Well, tell me, if somebody needed oxygen therapy, they would probably call you, and you would get the doctor to provide it, and then you take over. Now, what do? You say you deliver the oxygen, you show them how to use it. What else do you do for them? I mean, any oxygen-producing company. There's a lot of people. Lincare is the only one. A bunch of them around.
Right. There's more than just Lincare around. Basically, our responsibility after that is to make sure that they have the proper equipment to continue the therapy. We do provide a 24-hour service in case of emergency. We try not to do. If someone calls in and has a problem, if we can talk the person through it and troubleshoot it over the phone, there's plenty of things that we can fix over the phone.
What kind of problem could you have?
Well, people will call up and my machine's not working.
The lights are out. What happens when the electricity goes off?
Well, we do provide an emergency backup tank that does last about 5 hours.
Okay.
You
hope the electric comes on.
Yeah. Well, if it doesn't, we have
you rush over.
we have enough tanks to supply people, and our supplier is really good. If there is a major power outage that's not going to be resolved, they will have someone at their facility filling tanks for us, so that we can continually keep get a supply of oxygen to people.
They have some pretty big tanks, like on the ambulance. The tank is about this big.
Yeah.
About that big around. I mean,
yeah,
it's huge.
We don't have any of those.
You don't use those?
No. But ones we have are about this big around. They're about 2.5 feet tall.
Okay, like the standard O2 that they use on the ambulance,
right.
Too, the little one.
Yep.
Well, tell me, Galen, we're running behind time here a little bit. Whatever got you into this business? You answered an ad or what?
No, actually, it's kind of strange. I was working at Chautauqua Hardware, and got laid off from there. So I was out of work for a couple months, and in the meantime, I was attending one church. I started attending another church, and one Saturday I was just up helping, and one of the ladies her husband was on oxygen with Lincare, and she had mentioned that they were looking for drivers. So I called them up. They asked me to come in for an interview. I filled out the application on a Monday, called me for the interview on Tuesday, went in that Wednesday, and was hired by Thursday.
You know,
and I started a week later.
That's great. Well, you know, it shows you that some churches are definitely nearer the year of God than other ones. You know, it's a good thing you switched over.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's God's providence, and that's how He decided to work it out. So, so that's how I got into it, and I've really enjoyed it.
You find it satisfying. Well, you're helping people, for
right?
One thing.
And
I just got this funny sound right here.
Oh, that's the race car time. Yeah, it's time to go.
We're out of here.
We're out of here.
Okay, close up. Anything you want to say? I'll give you 30 seconds. Go
Well, if you're wondering if you need oxygen, ask your doctor. Talk to your doctor. Get a medical history. Because the lack of oxygen doesn't only affect just parts of the body, it affects the whole body. All your organs, your joints, your skin, everything. It affects all that, believe it or not. And the longer you wait, the more difficult life is going to be.
So don't fool around. Okay.
Don't mess around. Get it done, to get it taken care of. And you know, it's not a bad thing.
Good. GalenZookpt. Thank you, Galen, oxygen therapist and oxygen dealer. And he, again, if anybody wants more information, give him a number.
It's 716-484-1292.
Okay, there you go, friends. This is not an ad for Lincare. It's just information. I want to thank some special, sorry caller, we couldn't get you. It's probably Linda.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next time. I want to thank special people, Chuck Kelsey, Devin Taylor, Chris Burt, Randy Burt, Chris Ramaker, Jeff Zook, Don Zenz, John Hamels, and Dan Bird. Thank you, folks. Thank you for calling in. And I want everybody to have a wonderful 4th of July. Make sure you have a picnic. If there's somebody around you, a neighbor you know, who doesn't have a place to go on the 4th of July, bring them over. Give them a hamburger, a hot dog. May all that is proud and true and noble abide with you on this special holiday of our independence. I'm Reed Powers.